Hi, today's going to be a pretty gentle practice. I'm calling it a full body stretch because we are going to stretch the entire body. We're going to start at the soles of the feet and bring the stretch up through the backs of the legs, up along the spine, over the top of the head, and then back down through the entire front body, back down to the tops of the feet. We'll then also run it up the side body, up over the head, and then back down around the other side. So just kind of taking a circle of the body from back to front and then from side to side. Um, so yeah, let's get into it. Let's come into a tabletop position. And we're just going to start with a few preparatory movements here. So we'll work with the spine just a little bit. We'll come into a cat shape here, and you can take a nice exhale breath as you lift the belly high, drop the head and the tail low. And then with an inhale, we'll stretch that belly underneath. Let's pull the head out away from the tail. Let's go back and forth a few times, and you can start to connect your breathing with your movement. So an inhale in the cow and an exhale into the cat. So noticing how the body's feeling, noticing how we're breathing, and just linking those two together so that they can work together. Let's do one more of each. Good, and then we'll come back into our next cow pose. And then let's tuck the toes under here. We're going to start to push back so the hips can sit back against the heels. And here's our first big stretch of the practice. So we're finding a stretch through the soles of the feet, the arches of the feet. You can stay here. If you want a little bit more sensation, you can start to walk it back and maybe even lift up the hands off of the mat, rest them on the thighs perhaps. You could stay here, or you could even reach down and lift the knees off of the floor as well. Come into a little toe stand, maybe even bringing your hands to your heart. So a little balance challenge here as we're bringing a lot of awareness and stretch to the soles of the feet. Good. If you chose to come into the toe stand, let's go ahead and lower the knees back down. And then let's walk it back out. We'll come back through that cow shape again. Let's walk the hands a little bit further forward now because we're going to lift into downward facing dog now. And we're going to start to pedal the heels a few times. So still feeling the soles of the feet, but starting to bring some more awareness to the calf muscles. So the back of your lower leg. Now with your next inhale breath, let's rise up onto the balls of both feet. We're going to bend the left knee, press the right heel back, and we're going to hold this single pedal here with the right heel very heavy and the right calf muscles getting very long and open. Good, let's rise up onto the balls of both feet. Let the left heel now get extra heavy while the right knee bends. And just really feel the stretch on the back of the left leg, the lower leg. Let's do each side one more time. So rising up onto the balls of both feet. Right heel gets heavy, left knee bends. This time you could even pick the left foot off of the floor and maybe take a few ankle circles. You could take the left toes and place them gently on the back of the right heel, just if that feels okay for your body. Might bring even more depth into your stretch. We'll lay the left foot down, lift up to the balls of both feet, sink the left heel now, and just bend the right knee. And if it feels okay, pick the right foot off of the floor. Roll the ankle a few times in both directions. You could also wiggle your toes. And then if it feels okay, you can place your right toes on the back of that left heel. Good, and then we'll place both feet back down. And we're going to take a walk back to the feet. So if you want to drop your knees first to get there, you can, but you can keep them lifted too. Let's walk back. So we end up at the back of our mat in a forward fold, and we're going to work with the hamstrings a little bit here. So we're going to take a forward fold squat. So we're going to bend the knees a whole lot. So let your ribs come down and rest on your thighs. And then with an exhale breath, you can straighten the legs again, tuck the chin and look back through the legs. Let's do that again. So inhale, bend the knees a whole lot. You can lift your head here, sit back. Exhale, straighten, tuck the chin, and dive in nice and deep. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling, sinking in. Exhaling, folding in half. This time we'll climb up onto the shins. We're going to pull the crown of the head forward now. So way out, far away from the tail. And then with an exhale breath, let's drape down again. Let's do that 2 more times. So inhale, stretching out nice and long through your spine. Exhale, draping back down. One more time here, half fold, lift up, stretch long. And then exhale, hold the fold now. So really settle into the depth. You may even take hold of each elbow here. Create a little frame for your head, bringing a little bit more weight into the torso. A little bit more stretch through the backs of the legs and across the lower back. Let's fill up with a big inhale breath. Take one more deep, cleansing, releasing exhale breath. And then we'll bring the hands back down to the mat and we're going to walk ourselves back down into a tabletop position where we'll come into another cat pose, but we're going to hold this one this time. So really feeling that stretch all through your back body, right along the skinny muscles along the spine. And just hold the stretch long enough to feel all that good space that you're creating through the entire back. Shoulder blades are separating, lower back is broadening, and again, those skinny muscles along the spine are getting longer. Good. We're then going to just sit back and we can come into a hero pose. And you could always slide a block under your seat here if you want to take a little bit of the pressure off of the knees. So let's just relax the shoulders here. We're going to bring the hands to the heart, and this time we're just going to tuck the chin. Let out an exhale breath. Feel the space now through the back of the neck. Get a little bit longer there. If there's any tension that you've been holding there, we can let it go. Might feel nice just to bring the right ear over to the right shoulder for a moment, and then bring the chin back down to the chest. Take the left ear over to the left shoulder, chin to the chest. You could do each side one more time. I'm giving a lot of love here to the back of the neck. Finish with a deep exhale in the center. And then from here, we're going to lift the head and we're going to come into a Padme Mudra. So we'll keep the heels of the hands together, the pinkies and the thumb tips together, but you're opening up like a beautiful lotus flower through the rest of the hands. And we're just going to place this Padme Mudra right up on the crown of the head. So like you're just resting here, the weight of your hands against your crown. Maybe you're closing your eyes and just taking a few breaths here. Feeling yourself just opening up like a beautiful lotus flower. Having risen up through the mud and the murk, coming to the top to open up into a pristine, beautiful flower. With an exhale breath, let's bring hands together again, and we're just going to place the thumb tips now right at the third eye. Just put a little bit of pressure there, right at this brow center. Take a few deep breaths as we stimulate the vagus nerve and turn on our parasympathetic response. Staying calm and staying very connected to our beautiful body. And then we'll just bring the hands to the lap. So we're actually going to do a breathing exercise now, which will help us create a little space through the face. So we're going to try lion's breath. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. And then with the exhale, you're going to open your mouth wide, stick out your tongue, and bug your eyes wide open while you kind of let that breath come out enthusiastically, like a lion's roar. So it'll be like this. Good. Let's do that a few times. Inhale deeply. Exhale, roar the breath out. Open wide, stick out the tongue, open up the eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and exhale. Good. Coming up to a knee stand now. We're going to work into camel pose. So let's just hook our thumb tips right behind the hips. We're going to roll the shoulders up and back. Draw the elbows close together like you're hugging a beach ball behind your body. Really anchor down beneath the knees, lift up through the crown, and then we're going to start to arch back. And your head just kind of follows the line of the spine here, but you start to feel more open through the front of the throat, the neck, across the collarbone, and the front of the shoulders. We're also getting a stretch down into the belly and really a lot of the front body here. But right now, just really focus on that stretch right up at the neck and the collarbone and the shoulders. Feel wide open here. One more breath in. And then exhale, we're going to tuck the chin, lift up in order to come out. We're going to take the hands down, tuck the toes, rock back to the feet here, and then let's just climb up the legs. We're going to come to standing. We'll find some length as we reach up. And then as we release the arms, we're taking them behind and catching and holding behind. So a chest expansion here. Shoulder blades snuggle the spine. The heart space now and the front of the ribs are wide open. It might even feel okay to lean back a little bit, tailbone down, breastbone up. And then with an exhale breath, let's soften the knees. We're going to dive back down into a fold, keeping this chest expansion if that feels okay for you. Any tension around the shoulders, the heart space, the collarbone, we just let it spill out here. So we're actually going to try to rise back up, still in the chest expansion. So soften the knees first, anchor the heels. Think about pulling the crown of the head away as you lift back up. Maybe landing, last breath in here in a little baby back bend. And then we'll exhale. Just let that go. Let's sweep high. And then we're going to swan dive in. And once we get there, we're going to walk it back out into a downward facing dog. You could drop to your knees and come to child's pose instead. We'll inhale our way forward into a plank pose. Let's drop the knees. And if it feels okay, you're going to start to let your hips drop. So we're coming into a kneeling up dog. So starting to welcome that stretch now into the belly, the low belly, the in front of the pelvis. Arms are strong, shoulders are away from the ears. We're breathing deep and stretching through the belly. Let's inhale here. With the exhale, we're going to pull back either to child's or downward facing dog so that we can take the right foot forward up between the hands. We're then going to drop the back knee. A block could be helpful here. We're in a kneeling lunge and we're welcoming the stretch down to the inner hip crease and into the quadriceps. You can stay a little bit lower or you could climb it up a little bit higher. Might even feel okay to lift the arms up. Really sink down into that lower half as you welcome the space through the top of the thigh and the inner hip crease. Good, let's inhale here. As we exhale, we'll come down, we'll step back or slide back to child's or downward facing dog, and we're just going to try the other side. So we'll step the left foot forward, we'll drop the right knee, we'll settle down into our kneeling lunge. Try to get grounded first, feel very supported in your stance, and then if you'd like to climb up, either hands to thigh or even lifting up, you could do that. Good. Let's inhale here. With our exhale, we're coming down, coming back to a child's pose now. From our child's pose, we'll lift up into a tabletop. And so we're going to lay the tops of the feet down and just kind of press into the tops of the feet. So welcome a stretch through the shins and the tops of the feet. You can stay here. If it feels okay, you can actually peel your knees off of the floor and you're just kind of pressing there into the tops of the feet. Good. If you lifted your knees, drop them. Last thing here, we're going to sit back into hero pose again, and you can stay here. If it happens to feel okay, you press down beneath your hands, pick your knees up off of the floor. So again, a nice big stretch through the tops of the feet, the front of the ankles. Good, let's lay it down. So we took our stretch from the soles of the feet all the way up and around and then down through the front body. So let's get the side body now. We're going to come to standing. So we'll tuck toes, lift hips. We can walk the feet forward a little bit, walk the hands back a little bit. Let's reverse our swan dive here. So this is just going to be one big stretch for the full side body. Okay, so let's hook the left foot behind the right. If that does not feel okay, you can always go side by side with your feet instead. So I think I got to switch based on the camera. So left foot is behind the right. We're going to support ourselves with the right hand, lift the left arm up, and then we'll lean over the body. Okay, so shoulders down away from the face. The stretch runs up the side of the leg, through the side body, the side ribs, and even up and into the arm a little bit. We're going to take this top hand and just bend it. So cradle the head. So getting more stretch into the triceps. You could even take this bottom hand up and just give yourself even more of a tug. So feel that full side body stretch. Good. Let's release that. Unhook the legs, hands to heart for a moment. We're now going to take that right ear over to the right shoulder and just find the stretch through that left side of the neck. In fact, if you want to give it a little bit more stretch, you can take hand to shoulder, hand to head, and just gently pull the two away from each other. Good. Let's meet back in the center, hands to heart. Let's go the other way. So left ear to left shoulder, right side of the neck wide open. And if you want to give it a little bit encouragement, you can. You don't have to, though. Listen to your body. Good. We'll release that. Bring hands back to heart. We're now going to take that right foot, hook it behind the left, or go close together side by side. Left hand supports the hip. We're lifting up, leaning over, opening up space through the entire right side of your body. You can then take that top hand, cradle the head, and bring the bottom hand around to grab the elbow and encourage it even just a little bit further. Good. Let's release out of that. Unhook and bring hands to the heart. We're just going to come down onto the ground to finish up. So we could take a big lift and then a nice swan dive. And go ahead and come all the way down and just swing around. And I'm just going to guide you down onto your back. Let's stretch the legs out. Come into a Shavasana spot. Let out some nice deep exhale breaths here. Shimmy the shoulder blades down the back. Bring your awareness to the soles of your feet. And then bring it up through the backs of your legs. Behind your knees. Behind the upper leg. Come up behind your gluteal muscles. And then all the way up through your back body. To the back of your neck. And then up and over your head, down through your face, the throat, the collarbone, the chest, the ribs, the belly, and the hips. Bring the awareness through the tops of your legs, around the knees, and all the way down to the feet, the tips of your toes. Let's now just create a circle of awareness that starts over on the left side of the body. It comes up the left side of the leg, around the outer left hip, up around the ribs and around the arm, up through the side of the neck, over the top of the head, and then down through the right side of the neck, along the right arm, the right ribs, the right hip, the right outer leg, all the way back down to the sole of the foot. Notice how your body feels after the space that you have created. Try to feel yourself a little bit more wide open, with the energy flowing a little more freely. Stay here as long as you can, enjoying this feeling. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Namaste.